So, hi, I'm Dr. Nikita Vizniak here with the amazing patient.
Jacomina, good morning.
Good morning. All right, so a couple of key things that I want to go over. This is a rather interesting case, and as you know, I like to share these interesting cases. And I'd like Jackie just to share her experience. So number one, what you've actually recently been through, and number two, what we did for treatments and options for you.
All right, I'd love to share my experience.
Yep.
About a month ago, I met Dr. Vizniak. I had come in with pretty severe headaches after a craniotomy, and that was about 18 months ago. And unfortunately, rather than lessening, these headaches were increasing over the year. I was becoming more and more despondent with stronger and more frequent headaches. So my first treatment was a very gentle massage to my neck, sort of a manipulation to my neck, and I believe there was also some gentle pressure to my head.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the key things that we do. In our first treatment, it's a get to know your body, get to know you a little bit. And so what we want to do is just gauge what the patient can tolerate and then go ahead and express ourselves and actually do more treatments based on that initial encounter.
Well, at that time, I had also developed a very odd pattern where every day at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon, I would flare up with very sharp, severe pains that would start on the left and go across the head, actually into the ear and jaw, across the sinuses. So basically from here up at 2:30, I was in...
Yeah, and the interesting thing for me in the case history was it was incapacitating for you.
Yes.
Like this pattern was going on for months for you, and you just had no way to actually figure out what's going on and how to actually, more importantly, get rid of it, right?
Well, after the first treatment, I went home and I waited for that flare-up at 2:30 p.m. and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And that was the first treatment. At 5 p.m., I did experience mild headache. The following morning, I had none. And for 3 days, I had no headaches, but I had at the same time developed a very sharp pain in the chest, the back of the lungs, oddly enough. And therefore I came in for a second treatment, and we did some...
Yeah, so on the follow-up there, so the next treatment what we actually did is the first treatment was relatively light. Second treatment we worked a little bit more through the scar tissue she has over top of her skull where the incisions were made and the actual access to the frontal cortex was done. And then the other thing is that we progressed on. Now one thing that occurs with the body is when you have an area of significant pain, you pay attention to that area. And once you see an alleviation of those symptoms, your body starts to pay attention to other areas that were less significant. And I kind of feel like that's what we were looking at here for Jackie when we saw that initial start right there. So basically facial pain, head pain that was debilitating, happening every day, and we're able to reduce that. And then following up, she has a different area where she has a little bit of discomfort occurring.
In the chest and back?
Yeah.
And we also practiced some breathing technique, which I took very seriously. I'm still doing them, and that was resulted in 90% reduction of that chest pain the following morning. And I have no pain at all. Head or chest since then. And so these are the kind of results that I like to share with people to realize that if you're out there and you don't feel like you can find appropriate treatments or nothing's getting better, there are other options for you to look at. And this is just a fantastic case that I thought I would share. The other thing is you gave an interesting name for the headache. What type of headache did you have? You called it a post-craniotomy headache.
A
post-craniotomy, PCH. I call it brain pain, but the correct term is post-craniotomy headaches, and I had them very severely, and within 2 treatments, you had resolved that pain that I had been suffering for over a year.
Fantastic.
Over a year.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with anybody who's watching this?
It's not scary. It's actually very comfortable. I found the treatment, it was my first time, and I was surprised. I was nervous, but I trusted the doctor. We developed that trust. And I found it was like it was actually very comfortable, the massage, the chiropractic treatment to the chest as well. Yes, thank you.
And one thing I have to say for Jackie here, she's an ideal patient because what does she do? You give rehab, you give protocols to follow, and she is to the letter making sure she's doing the best she can. And that's what you would hope for any patient, is that you could inspire them to want to make themselves get better. All we do is facilitate. It's actually the patient themselves that really does the healing. So thank you very much for your time, and hopefully you found this very useful.
Thank you. Thank you.